Anyway, right, guys, let's get started. So, welcome to BH Live episode 7. BH Live is a series I've created that's all about interviewing some of the most creative people in the industry and just getting their thoughts on whatever's going on in the world and whatever's happening right now. Just so you know, this also turns into a podcast and a YouTube series and will eventually be on IGTV, so you guys can check it out there afterwards. So this week, I'm super excited to be interviewing Sam Cassidy. Now, Sam Cassidy is relatively new on the musical theatre scene, but in only a few years, he has caused quite a stir. Some of you may have heard of his show 27 that later became Myth. Supporters of his work include Arlene Philips, Trevor Nunn, and even Andrew Lloyd Webber. He's currently working on multiple projects, collaborating with some exciting people. He's also a singer and actor, and generally a really lovely and busy guy. So I'm going to bring him on and ask him loads of questions. Right, Sam, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
Sorry about that.
That's okay. You're clear and everything now, so there must have been just a dodgy connection or something.
No worries. No, sorry, I'm a bit messy anyway. I'm just...
Isn't that your look? Dude, I'm in a whatever they call these. How are you holding up in lockdown?
I'm all right, actually. Things are okay for me. Let me just put this in. Sorry, this is mental. Things are never easy, are they?
No, never. But they're fun, right?
Yeah. Okay.
We're getting clearer as the call goes, so that's good.
Okay.
Well, I literally just got a message from one of my female friends going, he is so cute. So you're obviously a fan with the ladies out there.
Well, there you go.
Yay! Right, so before we start, this is a question I think I'm going to ask everyone now, and I posed it to you for the first time, is see if you can tell us your life story in 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Going to time you.
Yep, okay, 4 minutes. Life story very quickly. I come from a family, big family, mum, dad, 4 boys. So I've got 3 brothers. All of us were in the industry. My mum was in Hot Gossip, in the original Starlight Express. My dad was an actor and writer. My brother Jack is a actor, writer in Hollywood, married to the actress Marlon Ackerman. Harvey is in LA. Finn was a model for years, and now he's just a jet setter doing, I don't know what he does. He's
amazing.
So it's in our blood. This is what we do. This is all I've ever done is the arts. I'm very bright-minded. Left mind is completely rubbish. Just nothing.
Just doesn't work.
Tax season, I'm like, oh God. But
nope.
yeah, this is my life. This is very much my life. I enjoy it. I enjoy that this is my life. The arts. I'm very passionate about it in general, as a job and a way of life, which I'm sure you can agree with. It's not. We do this stuff for free.
A lot.
We would. Do you know what I mean? It's like you get paid for not. You don't get paid for the acting. They're not acting. They're not writing. They're not working. All the time in between. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So that's in my entire life, and I have no qualms and no shame in saying that I dedicate my life to this. You know, many people have fallen apart because of this. Because this is
relationships just go all over the place, right?
Don't they just? I haven't had a girlfriend who hasn't ever gone like that. Sometimes you're here, and sometimes you're just not, which is most of the time. You're in your own head. You're not there at all.
Oh, all too familiar. All too familiar.
My new girlfriend's quite wonderful with it now. She goes, as long as you can just let me know that you're not just ignoring me, you're having a conversation, but with imaginary characters in your head. I went, that's it.
Yeah. I've got this new saying that I say I've gone down the rabbit hole. Just I'll appear at some point. I'll be around.
Yeah, that's the way it is. Oh, dear.
You've still got 2 minutes left. What else happened in your life? It can't be that short.
I fought in Vietnam and stuff. No, I didn't. The rest of my life, yes. So then I went to drama school. I trained as an actor. I went to Mount View, but fell into acting more. And I say fell into because I did a few musicals, but then I got a film and stuff and carried on doing that. But I still love musical theatre very much. It was a big part of me. However, I love rock and roll. That's my thing. I love rock music, and I love serious themes and stuff. So I thought, I want to start writing things for people like me who are less inclined to go to, happy, clappy, things, but more, okay, this has edge, this is grit. Because I believe musical theatre is such a big, it appeals to such a larger audience, and yet it be frowned upon as an art form, as being, all lovey-dovey. I'm like, well, no, that's not true. I was like, go see a Sondheim show, and yes, and all the music and the themes are strong, and Les Mis, was very dark for its time, and I just thought I went down that route as writing, and I got lucky, and that's the one I'd say that more than anything else. There's a lot of hard work, but it doesn't matter. If you work your balls off, luck plays a massive part.
Always. You can work your tits off, but then suddenly the actual break comes from a lucky moment every time.
Some brilliant, unbelievable people out there just never got a break, just never got lucky.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's phenomenal. They just didn't get that break. It happened. But yeah.
So Charlotte's just put underneath, save the arts, hashtag.
Oh, God, save the arts. Well, I'm sure we're going to talk about that at some point today.
Yes, we are.
My mind in that whole thing is quite, I find rhythm in the chaos. I really. You're going to ask about it, so I'll wait till you get there.
We'll get there. Let's go straight to the next one because I know you'll want to talk about this. So I was lucky enough to see both 27 and Myth, which I know it's the same show, but the two versions of it, the original version and then the adapted version. Where did the idea originally come from, and what inspired you to turn it into a musical?
The original idea was because I'm a massive nerd into mythology, ancient mythology, Greek, ancient Mesopotamian, ancient Nordic, all this stuff. Because all of our stories come from there. That's when I started writing originally. I was so excited to read Christopher Booker's 7 Basic Plots and realize, going through all the stories of Gilgamesh and all the ancient stories of Hercules, the Actaeon hounds, all this stuff. They all fit perfectly into our favorite films and stories now. Myth, that's where it is. What I mean? Everyone I'm sure knows that, you watch The Lion King, you're basically watching Hamlet, But, what people don't know is you're watching Matilda, you're watching Hercules. That is the original story of, it's sent out to do the 7 quests. That's what it said. Great power, great strength, comes from someone, but having to conquer to defeat a giant. These are the same stories. They get told over and over, just different characters and stuff. And for me, there was the story of Orpheus in the underworld, which was, I just went, why is this not being told on the back of the likes of, Amy Winehouse had died recently before that. And of course there was, she's part of the 27 Club. It's Kurt Cobain, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix. And what really struck me about all these stories is how, their lives, their shoot to fame was also similar as well. It was all what happened to them. It was just the whole world, watched them falling apart in front of their eyes, and yet no one was there the moment they died. They all died alone. Yeah. And I wanted to know what they went through, not in a morbid way. I wanted to know what they felt in those final, how they went, how it was the feeling of giving up or whatever. Yeah. Or, I know a lot of it was accidents, but take it from somebody who knows a lot about addiction. Trust me, it's when you're at that lowest ebb, it's a way out is greeted. You're going, you're not consciously doing it, but you're going, whatever. Yeah. And it was then I looked at the story of Orpheus. Orpheus in the underworld, he was very much in love. He was basically the original rock star in ancient Greece. He went around playing his lyre, and he had the voice that could, calm wild beasts, and gods and kings adored him. So much so that the Hera, of course, is always Hera, the wife of Zeus, was furious and jealous of his girlfriend and love of his life, Eurydice. So he sent a viper to bite her and kill her, and she went to the underworld. And he couldn't live without her. He was heartbroken. So he, being a rock star, and rock stars can get whatever they want, he sung his way into the underworld. He went into the underworld and went to Hades and said, give her back to me. And Hades, big fan of Orpheus, said, love your work up there. Said, you can have her back, but, you have to trust me. So you walk out of here. She's going to be right behind you. But if you, don't trust me, if you turn around and see if she, make sure she's there, I'll take her back. You just have to believe me. Yeah. That's the PG version. There is a much darker version, obviously filled with rape and things and stuff.
You don't have to be PG on this podcast. They're swearing and all sorts of stuff.
All stories that have been retold. If you go back, you ever read Hansel and Gretel or old fairy tales, the original ones? So dark. But yeah,
all the original stuff is great.
Came out of the underworld, and he turned around too soon. She got taken back. He couldn't bear to live. He lost his reason for living, and he ended up getting torn apart by the women of Thrace. They put his head on a shield, because they couldn't have his voice and have him. No one could. And I just went, that is a very visceral, metaphor for rock stars today. They get torn apart by the media, the people, when they're so hurting, when they're so in pain. There's more pain. How much can we draw? And then eventually it consumes them. So I thought a modern telling of Orpheus in this world would be perfect, would be such a good thing. So I told it though, and I told it in 27. It was 27, and it was about a drug addict and all this stuff, and the music was rocky, and it really didn't pull any punches. And it went down really well. I was very lucky. I got a wonderful guy called Mark Shaw to start a company around me for my work to invest in this. So we got a 6-week run with an amazing cast like Jodie Jacobs, Cassie Compton we had in it. Greg Oliver was my original person. We had some brilliant people, but it got interest from producers, and of course, naturally, the one producer who I really wanted to go with, you're going to know her name anyway, but she asked me to sort of change it around to make it more palatable for children, stuff like that, and families. And it was very hard to do that. So as I was working, I couldn't work on it quick enough. I couldn't get the changes in, and she chose another musical, mine, and another one, which my friend had written, called Everyone's Talking About Jamie. And that one went on,
Right, we all know that one, yep.
But obviously, that was a wonderful show, done brilliantly, and that went on. It said, but I wasn't there in time. So then I rewrote it into Myth. But I actually watched Myth, and I went, no, it's lost all its heart. It's lost what it's about. So I stopped it. So I stopped after that.
Really?
And I went, it's absolutely not. So this is now going back, because I'm taking it. I can't do this. I was like, I like Myth, but I like 27 more. So it's real, and I was like, it has to be this. Even if it's niche, it has to be this way. That was the story of that one.
It's funny, you kind of asked my second question. So my second question was going to be that, you know, from 27 to Myth, it was a dramatic change. Like, there was a huge amount of change. And I was going to ask you what the catalyst was, which you said was a producer was involved, which, let's be honest, the minute money gets involved, it always promotes change.
Well,
but I'm glad...
It wasn't actually even the money, man. It was, at that point, it was just you get to a different point. Because after 27, all the hype and everything, I remember sitting down, going over the show with Andrew Lloyd Webber, sat in his house, and he'd go over because his theatre at the other Palace. And Arlene, who was my director, was lovely, told me a little story that I just was like, wow, that apparently it was her, Trevor Nunn, Andrew Lloyd Webber, all talking before that he met me or whatever, saying that I was the next, like, Lin-Manuel Miranda, kind of our country and all this kind of stuff.
Right. And
that was all based on what I'd done. And then I think I sort of started to lose it then, because I started to please people, you know, because I like the acting. I was like, I can do anything. I can do anything you ask.
Just tell me and I'll do it.
Tap number in. Yeah, I can write that in. I can write that. You want to change that? By the end, you know, it was, you know, my wonderful, an artist paints a picture of a horse. It'd be there, I don't have a horse. You put other people's ideas on, you get a camel. It started to become, and I started to lose its way. And I went, okay, so... You know, I learned.
So you've kind of done a 360 then, come all the way back to the original story.
Yeah.
It's funny because actually my opinion of it is I prefer 27.
Yeah, I think
preferred it. Yeah.
I think a lot of people did, and I think the one thing that got me the most, which still hurts me a bit, is when I did 27. I had a lot of people. I did a lot of interviews with people who had addiction problems and stuff, and I did, and a lot of them came and saw the show, and came out in tears, like very much. Then I know that guy. I am that guy. And a lot of women who, the Cassie Compton's character, the Amy character, Eurydice in it, they could relate to her, saying, I know what it's like to love someone so much that I stay in a toxic relationship and hope I can change them. On the other side, I got some people slamming. Some people saying, what a weak woman. How could she be that way? And I was like, how is she loves this person, she'll do anything for them, and she gets swept up in his world because she loves him. That's not a weak woman. That's an empathetic, wonderful human being. Tried to make her stronger in the next one, and you're like, she wouldn't have stuck around. cold character. How can she not love him? He's in pain. I was like, you know what? You can't win. You can't please everyone.
You're never going to please anyone. But to be honest, if it's creating conversation in any way, you're already onto a winner. So
that's what. I remember that was once told to me very early on. It goes, there's only one thing worse than people talking about you and your work, and that's people not talking about you and your work. I went, oh, yeah.
There you go. So the next question is quite a funny one. It's from a friend of mine who knew I was interviewing you. I think you know Natalie Gray, don't you?
I do. She's fantastic. What voice.
She's incredible. She's asked, well, it might be 27 now, but when will Myth be coming back? And will you be hiring an incredible singer with red curly hair?
Of course I would. Don't need to audition you. I know what you can do. It will be coming back, but maybe in a different. A lot of good things happened after it as well. One of the main things is there was a little film that came out in America called The Greatest Showman, which did wonders for musical films because suddenly there was an influx of we want musical movies. Who's got them? And I was like, got one. You know, so it was there. So I was doing a lot of work towards that. But then I had another one called Bloodstones, which I thought was more appealing. And I've just been working all this stuff. And then I wrote another one for a kid who I just my mind got carried away for a boy called Ainsley Ricketts.
Yes, Ainsley's an incredible dancer choreographer.
Yeah, and I had an idea of kicking around in my head for a long time, and then he came and saw the shows, but then Emily Kenmar, one of the girls in the show, said, "You've got to watch his stuff." I watched it, and I actually put everything on hold to write a show for him, because I need to do something with this kid now before, Matthew Bourne steals him.
Yeah.
It'd be a very smart move. You know, and I literally went to her and I said, "I'm going to write your show. What do you want? What do you want to do?" And we were in the process of that, doing this show, and then this whole thing happened. So now we're just yeah, but I'm trying to think of other ways to make it work, because that's what we do as creatives, don't we? We can't really...
Yeah, how can we work around it? Like, look at me, I'm doing lives every week, doing online classes, and I've got about 20 million things in the fire ready to go. So you just work around the problem. So I'm 100% we're going to see a video adaptation of something very soon.
Hope so. I mean, that might have to be what is the next stage. And people say, I know people go, but I love live theatre. I love live theatre. I love live theatre.
Literally, Ainsley's just come on. So perfect timing.
I was just talking about you.
Yeah, so it's all complimentary, we promise.
Yeah, but it might be the next... That might be the next phase of development. Is crazy enough that people now think, for a long time, it's a show will go on stage, cost you a lot of money, but build up a fan, and then people will beg for a filming of that show. Now I think it's going to go the way. People are going to film things in spaces, do guerrilla style shows, theatre, put it online, get 20,000 hits, then you can go to an investor and say, I can put this on for a short run, hit this theatre, and people will come. They've seen it online, they want it live. I think that's going to be the new norm. Of course
it is. Yeah, well, this thing, I know this is a question we're going to talk about later, but it's going to be a while before the theatres are back. We know that. I think being realistic, next year, I think personally, it's going to be next year before the theatres can really properly open. That's if we don't have a second wave and people stay indoors and so on.
I think there's a lot... I mean, I'm sure is that your question now, or is that...
No. Let me move on to the next question, because we will come back to this. I know it's happening. You kind of already answered it. You're very good at moving on to the questions without getting there. If you can tell us, what are you working on at the moment, especially in lockdown? So what's next for you? Are you working with any incredible choreographers, ones that wear these crazy head things and curly
obviously,
hair?
Any kind of Brendon. How many times have we met? What you got? Nothing.
Yeah, what have you got? Give me time.
Busy. You have one day free in September 2000.
Yeah, let's meet for a beer.
Point, Brendon. What's the point? Yes. Well, obviously, I've got one with Ainsley, which is up in the air. Yeah. But again, got very lucky in that this wonderful woman who's a writer got in touch with me to help write dialogue for one of her books, and I learned a lot. I've never written a book or a novel. But through the process of writing dialogue, which write scripts, I've learned how she does it. She's really taught me. And I sort of dabbled when she told me to write a novel, and I thought I had time. So I've started writing Bloodstones, one of my musicals, into a novel, because I thought this is going to in mind. But it turns out it's working better than doing a musical. So I was like, well, there's no money. He goes, of course there's money in it. You get paid to write. And I was like, what?
Sorry, what?
Is to write this, and I didn't get a penny. And I was like, I'll forward you this money, and then you pay that back when you get your advance. I'm like, sorry? I was like, I didn't even earn a penny after 27, during or after. I was like, I didn't earn it. I was like, I'm getting paid already just to think about writing it. Yeah.
I'm in the wrong career.
When you're sat broke and going, oh, that's cool. But I am writing it. I'm doing it now. And with everything that's going on in the world, it's a very apt storyline. I won't tell you the story, but it's very appropriate in many ways, and it's a high concept novel, so it's going to imagine
very cool
world, but then you can relate to all the shit that's going on, right? So we'll see how it goes. I'm on page.
I was gonna ask, is anything you're writing right now relevant to what's going on in the world right now? Because there is so much going on.
Whatever anyone writes or does at any time is, if you're not holding a mirror to society, what is the point? Even that is what all art is. Even if you look back at the 60s, when pop art was coming about, the absurdity of the art was a reflection to the absurdity of society.
Yes.
Art always reflects the people.
Life. Yeah.
And if it does, you're out of tune. And if you're out of tune, you're not going to be...
You're not current.
You're not current. It doesn't work,
No.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. Right, take a slightly different slant onto the interview now. Secondly, if anyone's watching and wants to ask Sam a question, put it in the question box below, and I will try and fire in the questions if and when they come through. So, when you're looking to cast your shows, what are the key things you look for in performers, and also what is the biggest turn-off for you?
Right, casting a show. Bearing in mind, and this is if anyone's listening, used to hear this phrase a lot, and I didn't believe it until I did it. As an actor, I used to stand up in front of a panel and stuff, and you do audition or whatever, and you think people don't care. I swear to God, the people behind the desk want you to be right so we can get it done and get the part. We want that person to walk in more than anything. I didn't realize how true it was until everyone who came in and went, "This could be it. This could be it." You really do. I think there's a lot to be said, and if anyone's watching this who hates me at the moment for it, there's a lot to be said about casting in our industry. Yeah, which has taken a bit of an insidious turn, and I'm not afraid to say it because it feels slightly mafia-run business. There is a handful of them, of these casting directors out there who are bigger than their jobs. We know, and everyone's got a story, and everyone's got a thing, and everyone's got that. There's a girl out there. Everyone knows that casting director who slipped into her direct message, DMs and stuff. And and everyone's got that one casting director who's watched her rant on Facebook about an auditionee who was in there, who everyone can link to who it is. Yeah, I find that horrendous, really, in this industry, because when you work with a good caster, I work with the Pearsons, and they are the kindest, nicest, best casting directors you can have, because they care. They know your name, they know your background, they know everything about you. They're not, embittered by this industry in any way, shape, or form. When we're in the room with people coming in, I said I'd rather see less, which can see how to make sure that if someone comes in, they're nervous, you say, "Don't worry, stop. Take 5 minutes, have a chat, talk, do it," because you get the best out of them. Yeah. With casting. When someone comes in, goes, all you really want them to be is nice. It's not smiley or overtly smiley, but nice. Someone approachable and prepared. One thing I didn't realize I didn't like is until I had one person come in to audition for Orpheus, and he was a bit of a name in the West End, and I sent him I knew him, and I sent him the songs to learn, and he came in and he hadn't learned them, and I didn't want to embarrass him in front of the panel, and I went, "Hello, mate." I said, "So do you want to sing this?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't really know." I said, "Well, how about this, man? We have more auditions tomorrow," and I said, "So why don't you go home, learn the song?" And he went, I went, "We have more auditions the next day." And he went, "That could work. Like, yeah, give me 2 more days." And I wanted to be like, "Mate," I wanted to be like, what are you stop it. You know what I mean? Learn your material, be as good as you can. Yeah. But that's all you have to be, is as good as you can. It's good enough. It really breaks my heart when people say, "Oh, I wasn't good enough." No, if you were brilliant, you were brilliant. You probably just had someone who looked like you. You didn't match the kick line there. It's minuscule. You did nothing wrong. It's an overall thing. If you worked your ass off, did your best audition you could, you probably did. Don't go and change what you did because you didn't get the role. Because you might be perfect for some other role. That's points. That's all I'd say. Casting, come in, know that you're going to nail it, because there's only one you, and you're going to be brilliant. Of course you are. Yeah.
They always say that the fact you're in the room, you already look right for the part. So you already tick one. Then you've just got to show that you can do the job.
As making a show, you want to see this person. You've already seen your face, and just so people let off their agents on the thing, when it comes to casting, people saying, "Oh, my agent couldn't get me seen." It's difficult for agents. There's hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's very hard for an agent if an agent submits 40 clients, none of them will be seen because nothing has happened. The agent has done no work. If an agent says these are the 3 right for the part and 2 of them get it, that casting director phones that agent again because they're helping them with the job. Yeah, So always be careful. Always be aware when you say, "Oh, my agent's rubbish, not getting anything." No, there's nothing. There might be nothing for you right now. Yeah, but trust me. Just keep phoning up. Say, "Just reminding you, I'm still a 5 foot, a 5 foot strong girl. Blah blah can do this or whatever." Phone up. Just reminding you for when it comes. Don't forget me, because when that day comes, it will happen.
Do you know? I used to show up to my agents pretty much on a weekly basis with coffees. "Hey guys, have a coffee."
Yeah. Do you know what? It's not. I would recommend everyone do that. Agents are going to go mad, but it is not. It's not a crime. Don't be afraid to call your agents. Never be, afraid to call your agent, I'd say, because straight away, if that's your relationship, you're in a bad place. Most agents are wonderful, are really, really lovely. My agent now, he's running home to the Foundry, because I sort of left out of acting, and I got him to be like, just keep me in the acting puddle, really. You know, he's wonderful, because he went, okay, so what will you do? I went, not this, not this, not this, not this, not this, because I'm busy doing this, this, and this. He went, it's a very specific role of stuff, and he's just got me well, we're waiting to hear on it, this massive film in America. Do you know what I mean? He's like, the one thing you went for, and you got it. I am playing like Jesus, and I was like, well, that's specifically what I asked for.
Typecast all the way.
If I'm not playing someone with, you know, God complex issues, I don't want to play anyone.
Sweet. There's a quick question from someone below, from Charlotte, saying, besides being nice and preparing well for an audition, what else would you suggest for people to do to stand out?
Stand out in an audition. Let's put it this way. What we learn at drama school is, you know, a lot of the time is the standard sing your song, sing it over the top or whatever. And their song that they've probably seen 100 times, you know, so they've seen a lot do the same version. What they'll be doing then is they will be listening. What you're giving us is the opportunity to only listen, to only judge your outfit, to only, you know, look at the aesthetics, because we've seen nothing different. If you act, if you find a way of acting it, I'm not saying, you know, turn on my own into a comedy. I'm not saying that. But if you find a connection with your piece, with an acting, learn it, work with other actors, work with other acting coaches, make sure you get it. Look at your panel, let them see your eyes. Some panel don't like it. I don't care. Those people who say they don't like it can get over themselves. They can absolutely go, I don't like being looked in the eye. Get off your fucking high horse. If someone looks me in the eye and there's an earnesty there and they're telling me a story, I don't remember what you're wearing. I don't remember if you cracked. I just remember you made me cry. You broke my heart, or you made me laugh.
Yeah.
The want to stand out, perform it. Perform it differently. Know why you're saying the words. Before you sing it, and make sure you can hit the top note, read the words as a monologue and know why you're saying it. What am I saying? What am I doing? How can I do this right now? That's how you stand out. Everything else is a gimmick. When people say red, if you wear red, they'll see. Maybe in a dance lineup, absolutely. You know, that's, you know, show off your assets, so we can do. But in an audition, in an acting audition, act your socks off. Tell me a story. Yeah, that's what everyone wants. I hope that helped.
Create an emotion and be emotive. So therefore, to create.
You know, I mean, you can do that in, like I was saying with, you know, Ainsley. You know, he picks his dancers. They are, you know, every shape, color, creed, everything, and every single one of them are feelers. They feel from his heart. He works with the same one. Just go, oh my God, it's pouring out of them, pouring. Thank you. Good. So, sick. You know,
okay.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I thought you'd finished.
I am finished yet.
You're done. Good. Okay. So you've had an extremely successful career in a very short space of time. If someone was looking to follow in your footsteps, what advice would you give them?
3 biggest things I learned. You can be successful and poor. That's a massive thing. You can find yourself in rooms with your icons, heroes, and talking, you know, to other artists in the industry, and being in a position that anyone would define as successful, but then still have to go do your bar job at night. That's what I've done. That's one of the things. Don't define material wealth, money, and stuff like that with success in the arts. You're gonna upset. Not everyone's going to be a Brad Pitt and make Hollywood. If you're doing it, if your stuff is being seen, you're a successful artist. That's not something that's a fun thing to say, actually, because that's the state of the industry we're in. It's not like that in a lot of places in the world. It's not like that in America a lot of the time. You know, I remember watching an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda when he did, you know, when he got a certain amount of money up front to do In the Heights, to then, you know, off Broadway and all that stuff. And I just went, oh, there's that money, that money's not on the cards for most of us. It's really, really, you know, and there's a lot of things to do with race. I'm in the room, a lot of it, because I am, you know, I get into the right place because of, I'm a white, middle class, well-spoken, educated, all this kind of person. Doesn't make, hello. Nice. Do you want to say hi to my mum? No, you can see a load of people.
Let's bring mum on the call.
In Starlight Express.
Hello.
You want to hot gossip?
You don't have to speak to me. Hello.
Yeah.
You need to walk in. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. I've warned you. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, no, I know. I would be lying if I said I wasn't aware of the luck and my privilege of being in this situation, because a lot of the times, if you come from the wrong places, if you didn't go to the wrong school, if your language doesn't come out of your mouth and speak right, they're already saying no. They're already saying no. They've already written you off before they've heard your idea. But that's the worst thing. That's got to change. It's hard. That's the hardest thing. And that's a big, big problem in theatre in this country. And I know we try and pretend like it's not, but it is. I cringe when I see, we're going to do a Vita, but we're going to do with a whole, ethnic, urban, diverse cast. And I'm like, that's a quick fix. Why don't you not do a Vita, invest that money in finding some new voices, some new ideas, and telling a different story? How about that? Because otherwise, that just looks like a runner-up prize. It goes quick fix. You should be a Vita. How about you do something? How about you start doing something better now? And hearing voices, so we're all more inspired. So the future looks different, and it's not. The future isn't just okay. So we're gonna do. This is what we're bringing back now. We're gonna do Joseph again, but crazy thought. Let it go.
That was very well put. I like that. So if you could go back to your younger self, so let's say, I won't ask how old you are, let's say we go back 15 years and you could talk to your younger self, what would you tell him to do differently?
Well, I was only 15 years ago, so...
So let's go back 8 years.
15 years ago. I think one of the things I would say is, and I think I carry this on a lot, don't get in your own way if you can help it. And when I say don't get in your own way, I mean it's different for different people. There's a lot. You can either have imposter syndrome in this industry. You can either think you're not good enough. You can think you know too much. You can think no one can tell you what to do. You can think you're not worth it and all this stuff. Don't get in your own way. There's enough people going to do that for you and tell you where you're going. Be on your own side. My problem wasn't. My problem was. Let me just close this door. Sorry.
That's fine.
My problem was for a long time was I had to. For when I was younger, I had to be so overtly bigger and out there and say, look what I'm doing, because I didn't think I was waiting for someone to catch me out and say, but you don't deserve to be here. You don't deserve it. When I stopped doing that, when I just went, oh God, this is hard. Ironically, my self-esteem came up, and I went, I don't need to prove myself to anyone. I don't need to do that. I'm just here, and it's okay, and I'm just doing it. I'm on my own. Yeah, I'm just on my, I'm on my own side. A lot of people in this industry need to hear that, and a lot of people need to hear it, especially now as well with the uncertainty. Too easy to compare. It's too easy to compare yourself to people around you, and say, "Why? Don't do it. Don't do it. That's their path. That's their journey." I know that sounds mad, but when people say, "Yeah, no, but we're all going for the same path," but that's their path. That is not yours.
Very
yours
different.
will come. Stick to it. The only way this ends, the only way your game ends, is when you quit, when you finish. That's it.
The only way to fail is to quit. Yeah. Yeah,
that's it. And keep going. And people, I've seen so many people who they give up on their. If you're an artist, if your first love, do you know what I mean? If you want to be a dancer, and and you spend your whole life dancing, but you find yourself getting to the age where your body's given up or whatever. Don't think, well, I'm done. You're a fountain of knowledge, of experience, of understanding. I was like, you're so. It's not like doctors don't do that. Do operation after operation, and their hands get tired and go, well, that's it now. Not going to do any more surgery. I'm going to go home. They're a fountain of knowledge. They teach. They pass it forward.
Yeah.
This industry that is so needed and so crucial. Find another way forward. What can you do? You can create. You can teach. You can do anything with your fountain. People will listen. If it doesn't come from an embittered place of going, I never made it, but it comes from, this was my journey to then push this here, to make this. It's a wonderful thing. I always used to remember at drama school, the best teachers I ever had were the ones who were guest teachers, who came in, who were still very much part of the journey, still going on. A lot of the older ones were a little bit, there was a bitterness there, and they become addicted to the respect of being a student, of being a teacher. Yeah. And you couldn't say any other way. It was, that was their world. But when you got these outside choreographers come in, outside teachers, they were 3 years away, you were going to be their peers, their contemporaries.
Yeah.
You know, they were there. You know, but that was a wonderful. They're like, how can I help forward? It was good. It's a living, breathing thing. You are not dead unless you choose to die within this industry. You are useful till the day you die. You know, Gillian Lynn was going years till the end. You know, Andrew Lloyd Webber's still right now, still doing it. Why the fuck not? You know, do what you like.
Good. Yeah. There's a question quickly come in. I'm going to read it to you from Sylvia. Does Sam have any memories of the Rocky Horror Show, and how did you prepare for the role? What was all involved in the terms of getting into character, costumes, and dance routine?
I do remember the Rocky Horror Show. Yeah, I did that that was a wonderful time. I did that for a year when I was younger. For me, it was because I walked into the audition. I had long blonde hair. Like I was the smallest guy to walk in. By far, everyone was huge because Rocky. So, I thought everyone else is going to play it like this kind of thing. And I went, how can I do this? Because I was tiny. I wasn't particularly you know, I was ripped, but thin ripped. So I wasn't big. I went, how can I stand out in this audition from everyone who's a big guy? So I played him, I thought, imagine, what would a golden retriever in a human body be like? So I played the whole part like that. Never quite, never with you, you know? Happy to be here, happy. But never. So I went in there and seen it. They went, I don't know what we just saw there. I remember actually the director saying, I don't know what it was we saw, but whatever we saw, we liked it. And then I got the job. Then I had 3 months to get as big as I could, strong as I could to do it, to then carry on playing this weird, what's eating Gilbert Grapes, Leonardo DiCaprio part. That's how I did it.
Yeah.
You know? It was different. So that's how I prepared.
But it worked.
It did work. Again, proving my point. Go in.
Yeah.
Now remember, if you do something, if you speak to them some way, make them laugh, cry, just freak them the fuck out.
And they'll remember you. Either way, it works.
It works.
So if obviously you know, and we all know that, especially the MT industry, it's a really hard one to crack. Like I'm more in the commercial side of the world. I'd say it's a little bit easier, but from dipping my toes into the MT industry, or trying to, should I say, it's a really hard one to crack. So what advice would you give to a graduating student that has no connections in the industry, doesn't know anybody, and is just showing up to London, and what do they do?
Yep. Here's the best advice that was ever given to me. The West End is a closed, tight-knit, small industry that doesn't let anyone in. The bonus of that is the West End is a closed, tight-knit industry that doesn't let anyone in. Now, that's a weird thing to say. To look at it and go, how do I get from here to the West End? How do I get onto that thing? You go, that seems like an impossible feat. I promise you, everybody knows everyone else. Everyone else talks. Everybody's friends with the casting director, who's friends with the producer, who's friends with an agent.
Well, I think
small show at the Cockpit Theatre that you're going for, which is, you know, you're not going to pay a lot of money as a graduate. You go, oh no, I wanted to be Elphaba. Don't think that that's not going to be a major stepping stone on getting you there. If you are good and you need to be seen, you need to do that work. In your early graduate days, you do that. Find it. And you know, it might turn out to be the most exciting, best work you've ever done. You know, the early stuff when I did 27, I gave a load of graduates, you know, work in that. That was it. Because I wanted the brilliant stuff, because it was high intensity dance choreography at the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've all gone, like Colette Katat, she went on to, you know, 6. Shikana went on to 6 as well. Who else was in it? Emily Kenwright went on to be, you know, she's brilliant, and everyone's talking about Jamie.
Well, it's funny because I actually hired Emily for a job based on watching your show. Because there was this scene, and I can't remember, but it was like you went hip, 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 head, back, down, down. And it repeated and repeated. And her facial expressions in it were so perfect. I was like, who is that? So carry on.
That's how it works. It was 6 weeks at the Cockpit Theatre, but it goes on. I mean, Joel Harper Jackson, you know, he had a good career before he did Myth. He was in you know, Beautiful and stuff, but that he got seen in that, and people noticed him because he was phenomenal as actor. He went on there to go into Kinky Boots. He probably would have got Kinky Boots anyway eventually, but you know, because he was that good. But that was the chance he got really seen as the leading man, and rightfully so. Phenomenal leading man. You know, Zoe Burkett, remember when she came into audition, she just had a baby. She said, thank you, for coming in. She did that part of Miss M in that, and then went on to play the same part 3 times. It was like, she went on. She was then in Rock of Ages, same part, same kind of thing. She went on to...
Very good.
Because no one had heard or seen Zoe Bucket for a while. She went and had a baby. Straight back in, that voice, how can you say no? It was great. It's a small industry. We talk, everyone records things. You go on YouTube, especially with Instagram and things nowadays, you can see who the best singers are without necessarily having, the biggest careers. I would put my hand on my head. Luke Bear is one of the best vocalists in the West End, who, was second cover Jamie in that. He's not had 10 lead roles, but I've heard him sing. And boy, I say he's one of the best vocalists in the West End. You just know that thing because Instagram has let me know. It's a small industry. You'll get, you do these things,
Yeah, and to kind of just touch on what you're saying about it being a small industry, and yes, that means that there's so many more ways in if you can network the right people, but also don't be a dick because it's a small industry.
Don't be a dick, yeah. I think it's kind of I do think it's sometimes a bit unfair when people say, don't be a dick, because also this industry can be cruel in, I know people who've made mistakes and mucked up, and it has followed them and haunted them.
Yeah.
From show to show, and rumours begin. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't be a dick. Also, don't judge somebody before you know. Whatever you hear of someone else, if you know them, don't say anything. I once he's quite well known West End name of a guy who I knew him. He didn't know me, and my brother knew him. And my brother went, "Hello, mate." He goes, "Hello, man." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Hello." He goes, you know Sam Cassidy?" Not knowing that I was his brother. And he went, "Yeah, cunt." Sorry, but
that's fine.
Yeah, and I just went, "Oh, okay," like that. I went, "Yeah." My brother went, "Is he?" And I went, "Yeah, I hate him. It's such a, oh God, hate him." And I went, "I'm Sam Cassidy," and he went, "Oh, mate, I must have been thinking of someone else." It's like, no, you just yeah.
Those situations are the best.
Me and that guy are friends now, then, because I saw him. Don't worry about it, but,
Yeah, it happens.
But it was at the time. I was just like, well, that's this industry, That's it's so easy to say, oh, no, them. You might be on the receiving end of it. So be kind. Be kind no matter what, because you need it. We need a lot of kindness.
That was perfect. That was the best response you could have asked for. Right, the penultimate question, which is kind of in 3 parts. The coronavirus, you knew it was going to come up. As we all know, it has completely disproportionately affected the entertainment industry. And there is fears that it's not going to open until 2021 before we see theatres opening again. How do you think the industry is going to look after this?
I'm going to try and answer this and answer Charlotte Garber's question about the question as well, about acting as well.
Yeah.
Because I believe there is... That's the best way to put it. First of all, I want to just throw a little thing out to Sonia Freeman, which I love, considering when Cameron McIntosh recently, he sort of backed out of the industry, pulled his shows, pulled his stuff to save his money, which is good. Sonia Freeman released a statement saying, when I'm out of this industry, it's dead because I will be the last one standing, which means everyone's gone before me. Love that woman. I was like, that's the attitude. I will stand at the front line no matter what, It's, these people, we depend on them now. We depend on them to come up with. However, and I say this lovingly, they're not going to. They are a product of their environment and their time and their day and their age, and it was different. And when something like this happens and rocks the boats, it is literally it's the beginning of something new. And we know this to be true from, if we look over history, if we look back, let's at least we forget, 1945, World War II ended, 50s came later, and boom, rock and roll was born. Art changes on the back of something that happens. That's not an accident that happens. It's a release of the young people who have seen their fathers, whoever, and grandparents killed in the war. Change. It's a reflection of society. Then you had, Vietnam War at the same time as the hippies. There's a reason for that. Punk came into music, in the 70s. At the end of that, there's a reason for that. We saw an influx of during the Gulf War. We saw an influx of art changing in this country as well. It always changes. The world reflects. This thing is a telltale sign of how we react, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement. Everything is happening. This is not an accident that it is all happening at the same time. It's not the COVID. And people say, yeah, it's because COVID-19, because, you know, because people have got no time. People have nothing but time to be attentive and be aware. I feel sorry for anybody who has lost loved ones in COVID-19. It's a horrible thing. But this is the aftermath of attention, of focused attention. You go, okay, this is where I stand. There is going to be an explosion of art now coming from some awesome places, I believe. Some incredible unknown places that's going to come out because people are angry, but people are also, I hate to use the word woke, but waking up. They're aware. And there's going to be nowhere to put it. Because our theatres are closing. Does that mean the feeling in the art dies and goes away? No. It means it leaks through the guts. It seeps through the other cracks in society and comes to the people another way. If that is media, which it will be, it will come in new forms that we have never seen before, that we haven't got on board with. It's going, you will see people, choreographers, becoming huge by how they do their guerrilla style choreography after a lockdown, where they're doing, what's going on. You will see new plays in theatres filmed up close. This is going into the thing about if your college is known for MT and you want to get into acting, this might be a wonderful time to start blurring those lines. I know that is a big thing in this industry, that if you're MT, play to the back, play to the gods, that's what you do. And if you're not an actor, it's more intricate. There was going to be a lot of opportunities, I think, now where people are going to film musical things up close. Your acting will have to adapt. Everyone will have to adapt. There's no point in, giving it big on camera. That will blur the line between straight acting and musical theatre acting. It will change the very dynamic and the very fabric of our material, of what we do. It's going to change. It's going to be exciting. I can't tell you what's going to happen, but something's going to happen, because if it always does. It always has. Yeah. And we'll be in charge of this. Our generation will be in charge. Never forget, Jamal Edwards, he picked up a camera and filmed his mates, and he did SBTV, and he filmed Ed Sheeran, and he got huge, and that's how he became this entrepreneur. He was ahead of the game. His mum was a musical theatre. Brendon was a performer. He had music in his veins. He knew it. And he said, well, let's get this out. Let's do it. It's so obvious after. It's called creeping determinism. Oh, that's so obvious after the effect. So this is what we're going to have to do now. It will be obvious afterwards. And we'll go, of course this will happen. Of course there was a whole influx of these awesome guerrilla style artists online doing things, clever things, trying to get smarter. And we're going to get smarter. We're going to do... Yes, we're going to adapt. One of the things, technologies, which I went to find, I was recently given, I won't tell you where it is, but I was, again, very lucky, but I was given a theatre, basically, to have as my own. I can't use it right now. But, I know, mad. I won't tell you where it is, but it's a giant, like Colosseum-style theatre. Because there's no seats in or anything, it's concrete, there's nothing there. But you can totally use it for what you want. And I said, well, you can't bring people in it. I can't build in here because it's millions. I have no money, but I can use it. It's normally £20,000 a day, but I can use it for anything. There's a technology that they use for Pokemon Go. Do you remember the game? Yeah. Pokemon? Which was a huge, success for a while, lived and died. But because of marketing campaigns, knew that they could put the Pokemon in front of the Nike sign, and it was a very special Pokemon, and loads of people come, and it will go, and it was free advertising. It was a very clever ploy. The game was short. But the technology is, I think, the most innovative way that we can move into theatre. We put millions into sets and design and all that stuff, which is lovely. It's a part of the live theatre. If you can't go to a live theatre, you don't need to do that. You can put your actors into places, into a theatre, into a space, a load of them, and create the world around them, wherever it may be. You can create new things. You can do whatever you want if we have the technology to design it. I don't know where that's going to work, but you could turn my concrete theatre into a jungle if you wanted. It's the same technology that they use for blue dotting on things like Avatar and stuff. Now it's new. It's going to look tacky, I'm sure, at the beginning, because it's going to look like blue, but it will get better. It will get interesting. And you wait until people start going, I can choreograph dancers to moving backgrounds, to 3D things. I can do some interesting stuff here, which will then change the dynamics of the commercial world, of music videos. People, that's how they do it. They go, this is going to be a new thing. Art will change. And it will happen before our eyes, and we won't be till about 10 years down the line we're going to see the new pioneers of it, who latched on and went, I got smart at the time, and the people who died away from it. It's the circle of life. It's natural. So what happens can only be good. Yeah. And how do you think people can support the recovery of the industry? So whether it be a performer, a non-performer, what do you think is key right now for people to show support? I think what is the best thing is I know we have a lot of giving free money, which I'm a big supporter of, is often saying it feels a little it doesn't get to the right places. Let people be grateful for their art. If someone's out there and who's developing some kind of software which is a much easier pay-per-view people's work that can be linked to a YouTube account. I don't have the brain for it. It's not my thing. Remember?
Yeah.
Somebody does. Somebody can do it so that you're not typing in your numbers or anything, but you can use your mobile app on your phone to put your card on to view one time. It costs you what? 17p. It's 72p on iTunes for a song. So why can't it be, 17 like that on your phone to view something, to view a friend or whatever, and it gets hit. You can see the hits, everything. That money goes direct to the artist for the 3 minutes, whatever the money that goes direct to them will then say, oh, they get loads of views. Then get not only that, but they will be able to put money into their stuff to do better, to then get advertising spaces on them. This is how you pay people forward. This is how you do it. You pay for the art, as much as you would throw into a busker's guitar case. That's it. At this stage, because it's the little things that will help, and I think that way forward, how to save our theatres, the government need to up, to up their game, because they could be gone a lot. I mean, it's when people think, but it's going to be, regional things, whatever. The National Theatre on South Bank is a government-funded venue. That is prime real estate on the middle of the South Bank, not South Bank, on all the way across there, which can easily turn into hotels, swanky, for Japanese businessmen coming over, and it will. Don't think it will not. It will become that in a heartbeat. Certain theatres will be saved on a listed public building list, which they can't be turned into anything. They can't be touched. These ones will go. Our government will sell these under our noses without knowing. A lot of the new builds will go. I can't imagine the Young Vic is a new build theatre. It's one place to go watch some amazing new stuff. That might go. That really might go, and it will go before you even notice. So those things the government need to get now before it's too late. But I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know how that's going to happen. We just have to save ourselves.
Yeah, we just got to figure it out, man. Let's get together and brainstorm it. Between me being a massive geek and you being just you, I'm sure we can think of something.
Well, find someone to work out the app, and then that's how you can do it. If you can get money,
well, funny you should say that, because
there's no physical space. There is an infinite amount of cyberspace. The question is, how do you make cyberspace better than just being in your living room?
Than the live thing,
Make that interesting. That's the question for artists. If you're out there, 5 ideas, make it happen. I can't wait to see it. Send it to me. Yeah,
definitely. Well, Instagram is going to cut us off soon anyway, so I'm going to quickly get this one question in that I saw pop up earlier from Bess. What advice would you have for somebody to work on acting skills for more naturalistic roles in film rather than musical theatre?
I think the best thing you can do is it's difficult. I don't personally like to watch myself do anything on camera. It is actually a very good technique to watch yourself back on camera. But in terms of acting, always empathy is key to acting. Empathy in any way. That's how we all act. That's what you do. That's what the best actors do in the entire world. There's a very famous story of Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier on the set of Marathon Man, where Dustin Hoffman ran round the set 5 or 6 times because he had to be out of breath for a scene, and Olivier was there, a cup of tea like that, and Dustin Hoffman came out and he's breathing, and he goes, "What kind of name are you doing, dear boy?" And he went, "I have to be out of breath." So I scene, he goes, "Try acting." And it is true, acting is empathizing. It is that simple. So if you find yourself being told that you're not naturalistic as an actor on camera and stuff, take it back to its empathy, take it back down to its simple stuff. Because are you connecting? Are you being? If you were having a one-on-one conversation in this scene, empathetically, would you be saying this, Darren? Would you be shouting, saying, "Darren, I don't understand why you're leaving me"? Or would that wouldn't feel right? You empathy, you're a smart human being. Go, no, that doesn't feel right. I would feel this. I would feel this. Half you, half character, and that's where it will work. I believe it is that simple and that hard at the same time.
Dude, well, we've literally got 45 seconds left, and someone just no, they haven't asked a question. No, it's a bit late to ask a question now. Sorry, Dragan. Sam, I wanted to say a massive, massive thank you for coming on live. I know you don't normally do these, so I'm so appreciative that you came on to my BH Live and shared your knowledge with the world.
Always. Big fan of you. I'm always waiting to see what you do next.
It seems to change every few weeks, don't worry.
Yeah.
But actually, before we leave, there is something coming with the live performance you can pay-per-view. I literally had a conversation today with someone about it. So keep an eye out on my social media because hopefully we're going to take it forward. So again, we've got 5 seconds. So in 5, 4, 3, see you later, buddy.
See you, man.
See you, buddy.